Hello there and welcome to LearnBytes, the show that delivers bite-sized pieces of wisdom so you can learn how to increase your efficiency and productivity, embrace your natural creativity and lead with impact. I'm Samantha Garrett from Using Technology Better, and I'm very excited to welcome to the show today Dr. Sarah Ferguson, the Director of Breathe Repeat. And you'll learn more about Sarah and what Breathe Repeat is shortly. Now, Sarah is going to talk to us today about efficiency and productivity. So let's jump right in and meet her and get the show started. Hello, Sarah. Welcome to the show from such an amazing location.
Oh, thank you, Samantha. Well, look, we just have to showcase when we can travel again, this is what you can do.
I love it. And you're coming to us from New Zealand. So for any Aussies watching him, they're like, oh my goodness, like how do we get somewhere so beautiful? Just wait a little bit longer.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. But it's a good reminder to go explore your own backyard, to make the most of it, because there's amazing stuff out there. And even when you live locally, you don't do it.
So true. And I think so many businesses just would love that at the moment because they can't have the tourism coming from, either interstate in our case or internationally. Yeah. So what a good call out. Brilliant. So as I've just mentioned to everyone in the intro, you're here to talk to us today about efficiency and productivity. But before we jump into that, I'd just love you to share a little bit about yourself and your work and what you're passionate about.
Gosh. Well, I'm finally taking a day off, which is amazing. I believe a lot in slowing down. Especially with regards to efficiency and productivity. I think I'm terrible at it. I think it's really easy to be in that go mode all the time. And I think that you run out of steam at a certain point. So what am I interested in? What am I passionate about? I think I've always wanted to know, how do you live a good life? What does that actually involve? And I've come at it from many different angles. When I was doing my PhD studies, as an aside, I was doing distance running and I trained for the New York Marathon and ran that. I was sure that, maybe if I got outside and did a big long run, that would be the answer to everything. And along the way, I was like, that's a piece of it, but there's more to this. And then I've since looked into other areas and, eating healthy food absolutely is a piece of the puzzle. By itself, though, not enough. And then I've realized, of course, mindset is part of it too. But also, you cannot just have a perfect mindset and become a productivity machine. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's the answer. And a lot of times we get interested in this topic and we click on all the articles that talk about how to become more efficient and more productive. And the question is, what's driving that? What is that coming from? Who are we trying to please when we do that? And where do we get those ideas and beliefs from? So I do believe in trying to kind of question those things. At the same time, yes, there are ways to be smart about things. There's ways to be less distracted in an ever more distracted world. And there's definitely best practices. So I'm interested in all of those things and many more.
I love it. I just love that you said what it takes to live a good life, and that straight off you said, like, it's not just one piece. So I'm so excited about this interview, as the audience can probably tell. So let's jump into the speed round, our 8 questions, 4 minutes. And then at the end, I'm sure we're going to have an interesting chat. So,
yes.
All right. Now, let me get the timer going. Are you ready, Sarah?
Yes.
Cool. Let's do this. And we'll just warn the audience, there may be a chance that a helicopter lands behind Sarah during the interview, but we're just going to keep rolling. So it could be interesting.
No big deal. No big deal.
We're cool. All right. I'm going to push go.
So these are rapid fire, right?
Totally rapid fire. Yep. 4 minutes. Timer is going to be on. All righty. First mobile phone and current phone.
Oh my God. Probably a flip phone somewhere back in the day. Current device is an Apple iPhone. Great device, reliable, pairs very well with other things, seamless integration with other technologies.
Cool. What does working efficiently and productively mean to you, Sarah?
Clarity on what you really actually need to do each day.
Oh, I love that. We're definitely going to come back to that. When and where do you work best?
I'd work best whenever I've slept properly. And it becomes more and more obvious to me with every passing year. The fewer distractions, the better, but you can still work in a somewhat distracted environment.
Yeah. Favorite app for helping you be more efficient or more productive?
I guess my calendar. If I really had to choose an app, I look at it and I go, where do I need to be?
Yeah. You're not the first person to say that. Yeah.
This is where I need to be.
Biggest efficiency or productivity challenge you faced?
Going to bed on time.
Ooh, okay. I think I'm feeling a sleep theme we better come back to. Yeah. So
Yeah.
then the number one thing that you've done that has had the biggest impact on your efficiency or productivity?
So I'm one of those people who loves absorbing information and knowledge, and not everyone is that way, but there's certainly, I'd say about 25% of the population who is. And when you understand why something makes sense, then you do it. And if it doesn't make sense to you, you don't do it. So for me, I mean, if we were to riff on the sleep theme, I was talking with a law firm a couple of years ago, and I said, what subjects would you really like, talk on? And the person I was liaising with said sleep. So I dived into it. And I was like, oh my God, I need this too. This is what we all need. We don't even understand how it works. When it works well, most of us in industrialized nations don't get enough or don't have good enough quality. And so I started reading more about that, and that was really been an eye-opener.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, cool. We've got 1:45 left and two questions. We're flying through this.
Killing it.
Totally. 7, book, video, or podcast that you'd recommend to others.
Oh, the Huberman Lab podcast, 10 out of 10. Love it.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
I'll get you to tell us more about that at the end. 1:28 with one question left. I hope I haven't missed anything. No. Oh, good. I'm just checking. Cool. We are. If you could save an hour each day and spend it doing something you love, what would you choose and why?
I'd probably be with people I really care about. I think that matters more than most things.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, 1:03. Let's stop the timer. Wonderful. And we had no helicopter. So thank you so much. I love that. And so much. So 3 things that really stood out. So 1, I would like to understand more about that clarity piece around, clarity about what you need to do. I think totally I'm keen to hear more about the sleep part and seeing we got extra time because we saved it on there. And just, if you could tell us a little bit more about that podcast before we finish and what to expect from that. So
I might need prompts on those 3 bits.
Oh, good. I've got them up here.
Clarity. We've got a culture that gives gold medals for you saying you're busy. How are you? I'm busy.
Yeah, totally.
Busy gets in the way of us connecting with people we care about. We pick up a device and we favor that over the person who's physically in the room with us. We think that they'll be there, that they'll wait. And actually, we've got it backwards. The whole reason we're being busy is because we want to be seen as being worthy of love, I think. Now, you could say there's other reasons, but why are we needing that work so much? So I think if you're clear on what you're doing and why you're doing it, the decisions become very easy. A friend of mine, Shan Jacquet, has a great website, and she has a course on figuring out your values. That's a great starting point for people who think that this might speak to them and they don't really know where to look next. On my website, Breathe Repeat, there's a list of over 200 values and similar exercise you can do where you whittle it down to what really, really speaks to you. But I think when we're busy, we have a lack of clarity. Focus comes once you know what you want. Sleep is the other thing we think we can sort of cheat our way through and short circuit, and we're not wired for that. We need it. Everything comes just easier. Things are funnier. Life's more interesting. And when we're sleep deprived, it's the opposite. So I think that if nothing else, if you spent a week massively prioritizing your sleep and then see what the quality of life looks like during your waking hours, I think you'd be stunned. I don't mean you personally, I think everyone listening would just be going, what? Your world is transformed. So that Huberman Lab was the third one. Fantastic. Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist at Stanford University. And what I like is that he's actually one of the people doing the research, speaking directly to the people. Now, he's a super smart guy, and he's not diluting the information at all. He speaks at 100 miles an hour sometimes when he's excited, as we all do.
Exactly.
But what he's saying is the real deal. And I love that. He's not diluting it at all. He's not misappropriating it, which I get really frustrated when science gets a little bit lost in translation. I dare say the women's magazines they say this will be good for you, and I'm like, I read the research and I'm like, that's not what it said.
Totally.
So he's really saying, this is what it is, this is my research, this is the guy in the office next door, here's what he's researching. Does a great job of it. So a big shout out to Andrew Huberman.
Wonderful. And I totally will link that plus your website plus the other website you mentioned. I'll put all of them. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that.
Pleasure.
And I do want to hear more about Breathe Repeat in a minute too. But before we do that, I just want to really highlight those two key takeaway messages for our audience is around, I think that clarity and sleep is just two simple things. And, you know, you said they're like gold medals for business. It's so true. I always think people wear busy as a badge of honor. And it's just, it's just something I would love to see people walk away from. Like, I would just love us to have a different way of, you know, saying, got a lot going on, but you know, it's good. Like, I don't know what those words are, but it just feels like busy is also as well as being a badge of honor. It's a lazy kind of response. I partly feel as well. Like it's sort of, I'm very interested that you brought that one up. So thank you for that. And
pleasure.
Yeah, the sleep one's fascinating too. Like I always feel that as a person, I've always needed a lot of sleep. So I totally relate to this. And I always feel if I haven't got enough sleep, you're starting from behind from the morning. So I always think like, you don't want to start from behind. Like why put yourself in that disadvantaged position? Like get that sleep and, you know, get ahead in the day. So
yes.
Yeah. But also interesting though, is sleep's often been one of those things that I think we can put aside ourselves, but also I think can be seen as a weakness if you do need a lot of sleep. Like I always have found that really interesting, like with being a group of people, and I'll be the one that's like, it's 9 o'clock, I got to go to bed. And everyone's like, oh, what, really? Like it's, you know, like it's a personal
it's not
shortcoming.
Culturally endorsed.
No, not at all.
No,
not
but
at all.
God, what it does for the quality of life though.
So true. Yeah. All right. Now, before we wrap up, Sarah, I would love you to tell the audience a little bit more about Breathe Repeat and your work there and where they can find you and connect with you, because it's so fascinating.
Yes. Well, I have a background in, as a PhD in physics. So I did make it through that program in the end. I did finish my marathon. I did finish my PhD. Good. And I love that because I've got that literacy. I take what's out there in the world of science and I translate that into day-to-day stuff. But continuing with my theme, my interest of what does it take to live a good life? It goes a bit beyond physics, it turns out. You know, physics, of course, was me also being interested in how things work. And then I think I got to a point where I went, but I'm interested in also how people work. And I know that jumps over to psychology. So a lot of the work I do now, I read in psychology papers, I read neuroscience, and how to enjoy yourself, you know. There's an upper limit to productivity, and who is it serving, as I said at the start.
Yeah.
So Breathe Repeat was formed as a way of me formally offering seminars. I do a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of Zoom webinars now on stress resilience, mindfulness. Sleep turns out to be one of my most popular topics. And people really do write back with this, the best testimonials, like the best, oh my goodness, you've changed my life. I see this differently now. I'm moving forward with my team and we're going to change and implement things, which is very gratifying. So that's the work I do. It's very niche, but I actually think I think it's sort of early days and the tidal wave is coming for this kind of work.
Yeah. People are realizing that this stuff needs to have their attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you work, I didn't say at the start, but how we connected was that some of my colleagues in New Zealand were at a professional development session in a school actually run by yourself.
Yes.
So you work with both schools and businesses across New Zealand and into Australia. So definitely. And I looked at your work and I was like, oh, got to get Sarah on the show.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. And I think schools have been brilliant about adopting this, because everywhere, of course, the paradigm is if you work harder, then you'll rise up the ranks and then you'll be successful and then you'll be happy. And that turns out nothing in research supports that. It's a load of rubbish, but we all do it anyway. Are you happier? And what is success really to you? Anyhow, with school teachers, it's really important because what we need to do is teach the teachers. And if we support them and talk about how to deal with stress, useful mindsets to handle things, how to get your mind back online when things are in the weeds, so to speak. Those are great skills that they can model, and they can model emotional intelligence, and we can start showing the next generation that there are different ways to handle things. And that's really important.
It's awesome work. So thank you for doing it for the world, so bringing that to the world. So lovely. Well, let's wrap up. I think we've done a wonderful job. Really appreciate your time. And as I said to everyone, I'll pop those links below, and we'll chat again soon. Thanks, Sarah.
Amazing. Thank you,
Bye.
Samantha. Bye.
Bye. Hello again. Thank you so much for tuning in. I just had an absolute blast chatting to Sarah. That was one interview I was really looking forward to, and it certainly didn't disappoint. I really hope you found it as fun and informative as I did. Particularly love that message around getting clarity on your values and why you want to be efficient and productive and what you're doing, and not just, trying to win those gold medals for business. And also sleep. My goodness, I so agree with everything Sarah was saying about sleep. So there's a couple of really practical takeaways for you from this interview. Now, I'll definitely put all the links Sarah mentioned into the notes below. Now, if you've not already subscribed to the Using Technology Better YouTube channel, now is a great chance to push that subscribe button if you are watching us on YouTube, so that you can see when all the latest episodes are available. Or if you're listening to the podcast version, make sure to follow the show there as well. Okay, so that is it from me for today, but I will see you again soon for another bite-sized piece of the learning adventure that is life. See you then.